In the previous part of this episode, we modeled the stairs, the tomb, and that speed bump in the middle. Now we want to move on to the columns. Very good. For these columns, we will use a line, while for the stairs, we used a volume. And now we want to use a line and start modeling. Okay, these editable splines that we brought from AutoCAD, but we don't care about them. We go to the Create section, under Shape, besides these initial volumes that are available to us. And also other things it provides us with. There's a line here. We select the line. I press S and I can tell it in this section to identify the endpoints and vertices for me and the points. I click and start modeling the second point for this semicircle. We don't rush for the circles and semicircles. I'll tell you what to do later. We just determine the start and end points and this section, and the rest of the work that we want to model as a border. I right-click to exit the line command. I press S to exit snap. I press modifier. In the line section, we have three parts: edge, vertex, and spline. I press vertex, and you see that the vertices become active. I can select two vertices or one of them individually and change it to Bezier corner. Bezier gives you a two-sided handle. Smooth creates a smooth state for you without handles. Corner is a sharp corner, and Bezier corner allows you to have one sharp side and the other side in a circular or semicircular state. Okay, see, if I click on X, it only moves along the X-axis. But if I click in the middle and then move the handle at the desired angle, well, this is also a corner, so it needs to be Bezier corner, and then I select it again. Okay, this is also from this circle. I press 1 to exit the command again. Good. In the modifier list, modifier, I select lathe to rotate that line around a central axis. I set 16 segments for it because it's going to be an octagon with 8 corners, and 8 corners inside make 16, and a full 360-degree column. Undefined minimum, maximum, or center of the maximum state. I set it to maximum, but our column hasn't given us the shape we want yet. Let's look from the front to see if the space is also towards the inside. Lathe itself has an axis that we can move. See? If it's in that direction, it's the opposite of the part we want. And if it's towards the opposite, if I move it to the left, it will be created for us in the way we want. I move it so that its end is also placed where I want it, and it's the end of my column. Very good. Now I can right-click and convert it to an editable poly, or I can click the axis here and go to lathe. And I just clicked on the axis that was selected. It was blue, and then I also close the lathe. And then I'll come here and select an editable poly. The good thing about selecting editable poly from the modifier list is that you will have access to the sub-objects of your model. Okay, now I want to model this top part, meaning this border that I have here. And also, if you pay attention, this gizmo, the shape I selected, this is a corner, meaning if I want to rotate it now, it rotates around that part. It has the ability to move. If we go into Hierarchy and Pivot, which is the same shape, and select Set Effect Pivot, we can press W, move it, and place it anywhere we want. Let's click Center to Object so it centers itself, and then turn off Effect Pivot, and go back to Modifiers. Okay. I press 3 from Editable Poly and select the border. I select the top border and pull it up. Now we need to select vertices one by one. I can select them from here. Now since it's the first one, here, and this corner. You see that the ones behind it are also selected one by one. But if we go to the next parts, we will have to select them one by one. I doubt it will be that easy to select them. Okay, what do I want to do? I want to open them to the extent that in the shape I marked. In the front view, which is above my column and is the plan of my column, in both X directions and Y, and I'll open them and control them in the top view to be accurate and correct. To where I want them to be. Okay. There's a part here where we need to fix this irregular shape. In the Edit Geometry section, we have a button called Cut. When I bring the cut over my volume, you can see that when I'm on the surfaces, it's a large square, and on the edges and sides, when I move to them, it becomes a plus sign, and on the vertices, it becomes a point. I'll create these one by one, from the vertices along the edges, so that my shape has a proper continuity. Top and bottom, alternating. Next, it's hard to rotate because our top, front, and left views aren't quite accurate. Okay. I'll right-click to exit the cut command. You can see our first diamond is done. I'll press 3 and then select the border again, W, and move it up. What do I need to do here? Measure this. Very good. I'll hold Shift again and move it up. And again, like that. And this time, I'll select the inner ones and enlarge them. This section I'll do it up to the top, and then we'll continue together. This is the top part of our column. It's almost done. I just need to exit the command, rotate it 90 degrees, and bring it to its place in the plan. So that I can place it exactly as it is. Okay, it seems the bottom is a bit misaligned with our plan. And it needs some work and correction. Okay, besides that, very good. I can take this bottom part Press 1. Select this bottom part, and from here, if I enlarge it a bit, it can go and sit on top of it. Okay, maybe a bit larger. I'll press 1 and move the shape itself a bit so it's exactly where I want it. Okay, it also needs to be rotated a bit. If you look closely, these corners, these angles placed here, in its alignment, we need to see what it is. Okay. In the alignment of this corner, a shape. It's like this, meaning one of these sharp points is placed. And that corner of the work is placed in one of these empty spaces. Okay. Meaning this empty spaces, which are further ahead, should be at that corner. Let's see if we have placed our column correctly. Now, let's see how many of these corners there are. I think that... Okay, 1.5 of these corners. Meaning the second empty space should be the corner of that part. The state that is under the columns, if you pay attention, these parts that are flat and its inner part, we see that it's like this. So we need to make something like this up there. Okay. One and a second. Meaning here is the corner that should be aligned with this line. Okay, I'll draw a guideline to see what plan I want to have. From this point, we are going to come to here and from here to here. Okay, this is also correct. These two. Wherever you see that your point is not where you want it, or you want to go back, press backspace and redraw the point. From here to this point, and then to the end. Very good. Now I select my shape. I press 2, and I want to select the edges one by one, the edges that should go back. See? I bring this edge and place it on this line. The next edge, or the next side, on this line. The next on this line. Okay, our line is a bit ahead. We need to pull it back a bit. The next one is a bit ahead, in line with itself. That one is in its place, no problem. The next one, I'll bring it back further. It needs to go back a bit further, even the next one. Since this point is a bit further back, I have to pull the others back accordingly so that my shape is organized. Okay, the next one, similarly, I'll bring it forward a bit in line with itself so that my shape is adjusted. Good. That one is also correct. No problem. That one is also like this. The opposite side of the work. Okay, that one can also be a little further back. Its adjacent shape and similarly, its adjacent shape. Our capital is perfectly formed. You see the top part, and similarly, below the dome will be placed. Now we need to close the top part and the bottom part, just like that. And I press 3, up I select it and come. And of course, I'll delete this line too. I pressed R and collapse it inwards. One step. Another step, I bring it and collapse it to the end as much as possible, and then I press 1 so that the vertices are selected. I select the vertices here. I come to Edit Vertices and press Weld. I increase the number until they all stick together. The sign that they are stuck is that when we select them, it shows one vertex in this section. See, if I select one vertex, it says 2 vertices are selected. But if one vertex is selected, it shows the name of the vertex. Vertex 306 is selected. Okay, I collapse the bottom part of the work in the same way, and the work is done. Meaning, I press 3 and I collapse the bottom part in the same way. One more step. I bring it closer and closer, and then I press Vertex. I select the vertex and weld. I press OK, and I check that it has been selected correctly. This is the part of our capital and column.